Good morning, Coach. With the quick turnaround to face Temple, how is it beneficial to having had faced them once already this season?
I think so. Um, just from a personnel standpoint, I mean, when we played them last time, they were I think they had played one game. So they're playing so much better now. I mean, we just got out of a film session, the coaching staff of watching Temple. They're night and day from when we played them. I mean, I was really impressed with their execution. They know who they are offensively. They've got a go-to guy in Dunn. They've got an elite outside shooter in Barry. I think he's 17 for 29 from the three. That's hard to do. That's hard to do in a shooting drill. Forster, they're 5-man. But they've got one of the most unique players in our conference in Mormon. His IQ is off the charts. Great passer, tough matchup. You can tell that he puts a lot of value on getting assists. He enjoys that. And at the 4 spot means that they're always going to be 4 out and 1 in. And if they take Forrester out, instead of putting another big in, they move Mormon to the 5 and they play 5 out. First time we played Tulsa, of course, there's so much going on back then, but, they played a lot of 5 guards. Of course, the second time we played them, we had a better idea what we wanted to do. But this team's a lot like Tulsa in that they don't mind going small. Just like we went small a lot early in the season, and we haven't gone small in a while. And that's why we had to come up with a secondary defense. How do we go figuring out how to stay big when they go small? And Temple presents that situation too. But just having had played them once already gives us an idea, at least the strengths and weaknesses of the personnel. But they're completely different. But was really impressed watching them on film this morning.
All right, we'll go to Greg Bailey, KTRK. Greg, go ahead, please.
Hey, Kelvin, I apologize. I lost my video last night during the post-game press conference, so I don't know who said it, but one of your players mentioned to us that you guys have a goal of 30 tips, I believe it is, every game. What's the significance of that number, and what does that number show you about your team's competitiveness?
Yeah, I don't really. There's certain things I don't really like talking about. That's just a tool that I use to measure, our relentlessness on the offensive boards. So, that's a big emphasis in our program, and we track it. We have assistant coaches that are in charge of updating me and the team where we are at all the TV timeouts. I mean, we just use I use analytics like that to create competition within the team. Whether it's signing the bubble or guards are held responsible for getting X amount of rebounds. So we've got a lot of numbers. That's just one of them.
Well, if you prefer us, we won't touch it.
What's that?
I said, if you prefer us not to use it or talk about it, we won't touch it, man. We don't.
Yeah, no, you can talk about that. Obviously, offensive rebounding is something that's difficult to replicate. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out when it comes to whatever it is you're teaching. You achieve what you emphasize. That's just the way it is. Football teams that run the spread, that's who they are. You can't change and be somebody else. Every coach has a way he wants to win the game. You have to sit and figure, okay, what kind of team do you have? What is it you want to be good at? And be good at those things. We're not a pressing team. We're a half-court man team. You know, we're a low pickup point team. But when the ball is shot and we're on offense, you know, if you can't get it, then we want you to tip it. And then we keep track of that. That's all that needs to be said.
All right, we'll go to Andy Yanez from the Cougar. Andy, go ahead, please, sir.
Kelvin, a bit of an off-topic question, but we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the Kobe Bryant tragedy, and I know you guys were playing an actual game when it happened. Just with the time that's passed, does it still seem surreal to you just hearing about it? And is there anything that kind of stands out either about that day in particular, or the ensuing days that followed?
Well, I coached against Kobe for 6 years. When I was in the East with Milwaukee, you know, we play them twice a year. We go to Staples Center and they'd come back to Milwaukee. And then when I moved here for the Rockets, we would play them 4 times a year. So just playing against him and getting to know him, it probably hit me a little bit harder. Because, you know, I had, you know, NBA is so small. It's a fraternity. It really is a fraternity. You know, you stay in the same hotels, you have the same walking routes, you have the same restaurants, routines. We're going to Cleveland. Well, you know exactly where you're going to go, where you're staying, what's around the hotel, where you're going to go. We're New Orleans, Boston, Phoenix, Denver, Portland. But when you went to LA to play the Lakers, it was always a little bit different because Kobe, for Laker fans are cultish. I mean, they are, and the king of the Lakers was Kobe Bryant. But our kids, when our kids were growing up, he was the guy. You know, just like there's a group of kids coming in now that Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, James. You know, so every generation has their guy, and Kobe was this generation's guy. You know, I didn't grow up with video games. I don't know anything about video games. The only video game I knew about was pinball and foosball and Pac-Man. That's about as far as I went. I like to play foosball though. You don't even know what that is, do you? Shows how old this dude is. But Kobe was the guy. He was. You know, they play him on 2K or Madden, whatever their video thing is. But you know what? I remember I was surprised how hard it hit our guys. I really was. Because you know, we lived through 9/11. You know, and we all had a reaction to 9/11 when we saw the people jumping out of the towers and the carnage of that. So that when you have that kind of reaction, you know, it touches your soul. You know, like January 6th at the Capitol, seeing all that stupidity. We have a reaction to that. But you know, 18 to 22-year-olds will react to Kobe just like we adults would react to 9/11. But I remember that we changed. The game changed. I can't remember who we were playing, but our guys just got quiet, no emotion. You know, I'm here coaching the game, and these guys are trying to process Kobe dying. It doesn't seem real. It really was a surreal moment.
And thank you, Andy. We'll go to Randy McElvoy from KPRC. Randy, please go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin. Can you talk about what you've seen out of the development from Tramon since he arrived and kind of where he is at this point? And is there an area of his game that you want to see continued growth as the season progresses?
Yeah, the one thing about freshmen, you have to live with their mistakes. You can't focus on correcting their offensive mistakes as long as they're aggressive. You know, Tramon, like freshmen in high school AAU, when they get here, when they drive, they're driving to score. But like certain scouting reports, we know that teams will help off the corner. So when you drive the slot and they're helping off the corner, you're driving to pass. You're not driving to score. You're driving to pass because they're going to run at you. So that requires a jump stop and a decision. He's got to get better in those areas. Right now, he's turnover prone, but his passes are home runs and his mistakes are strikeouts. You know, he's got to learn to keep the ball in play. You know, he's got to learn that there's a gray area out there. But like last night, he had 3 turnovers and no assists. Now, you know, if Cam could make a shot, he probably would have had 2 or 3 assists, as would Jamal. But I'm not going to take away his interceptions because I may be messing with his touchdown passes right now. But I like his aggressiveness. I think we're coaching him the right way, and that we're allowing him to make mistakes. So he's not worried about looking at the bench or dwelling on a mistake. You know, for him, it's the next play because we want him to be aggressive. Now, there's some guys on the team, we may not want them to be aggressive because that's not who they are. But for Tramon, you know, we've got, you know, as the season goes along as a coach, you kind of know who's going to get your shots and how they're going to get their shots. Everybody kind of settles into a role. And we're kind of doing that now. Our team is starting to figure out their roles. And that takes time, especially when you knew, you know, this team could have Nate Hinton. This team could have Fabian White. This team could have Caleb Mills. So we've had to you know, make adjustments all the way from the summer to the fall to the winter. We're still making adjustments. You know, our bench isn't what we thought it would be. So, but Tramon's the guy that can come off the bench and really help us.
We'll go to Joseph Duarte with the Chronicle. Joseph, go ahead, please.
Morning, Kelvin.
Morning, Joseph.
I was wondering if what is, I guess, your definition, other than 1 point more than your opponent, of the successful defense in terms of, you know, do you have a set number, you know, as you go along in terms of what makes a good performance or what makes a great performance with field goal percentage, you know, that kind of stuff?
God, that would take me an hour to explain to you what we work on. I mean, I'm real analytic based in certain things because we evaluate actions. You know, like a team's going to run pick and rolls from the side, the middle, and the slot. Those are 3 areas of the floor. You have slots on both sides of the middle, and then you have elbow extended. Those, we call those sides. So side pick and roll, slot pick and roll, middle pick and roll. Your point guard is going to be in most of the pick and rolls, and the 5-man is going to come set most of the pick and rolls. So your 1-5 defense, we grade. There's certain things I can't get into.
Well, okay.
So, but we do, yeah. I mean, obviously, and as soon as the game is over, there's certain stats that I have automatically, like shot contest. What was our percentage of shot contests? We try to be 80% on shot contests. How many times you get blown by? But every stat that we keep in games, we keep in practice every day. That's one of the reasons why we're good on defense, is that we're good on defense in practice, because our guys know exactly what it is that they're going to be held accountable for in pick and roll coverages and transition defense, doubling the posts and our rotations out of it. Everything is evaluated. I mean,
Gotcha.
To be good on defense, you really have to work at so many different areas. I think that's the toughest thing to teach in basketball. You know, offense is spacing and putting the biscuit in the basket. You got good scorers, you're going to play good. You know, there's so many people that consumed by pretty offenses that are cutting and pass-based and this, like Princeton. Well, when Pete Carrill was at Princeton, he had Princeton players. When you're at Houston, I don't have those kind of guys. You know, we run the kind of offense that's good for our scores, and everybody has to fill in around the scores. But defensively, everybody's held accountable. You know, and it starts on a stop. It starts on the end. when we shoot the ball and we exhaust all means of getting that offensive rebound and we don't get it, now we're in transition defense. Starting in transition, everything we do is based off something that we teach.
Could you also, if you would mind, is there any updates on what Fabian's doing now or how he's doing? Any milestones or anything he's reached lately?
Yeah, he's doing great, actually. He was standing on the baseline what day, I don't remember what day it was, but we were really, really getting after it in practice. And Justin fell down and flipped his ankle. Got lucky that it wasn't a bad ankle sprain. Like he played last night with an ankle sprain, but we could tell he was just a little bit gimpy. He wasn't the normal bouncy Justin. But when he did it, I was just joking. I said, Fabian, get in there for Justin. Fabian ran in there to go for him. I said, let me get out of there. I was just kidding. But that's who he thinks he is now. He thinks he can play, but he's practicing. He has not been in a 5-on-5 scrimmage, but he is playing 2-on-2 live. Kellen takes the 4s and 5s, and we do 2-on-2 work, and that's paying off. Our big guys are getting better. They're developing, and Fabian's down there working with them. You know, just like we've extended Justin's game to the 3-point line. Fabian's in the process of doing the same thing. We want him to get to where he's comfortable shooting threes, especially in the corners. So, you know, for us, it's all about player development and getting them to the point where they're comfortable in doing what we want them to do. And Fabian's doing good. He's still wearing a knee brace, but his knee's fine. He has no. I mean, he's back. It's just a matter of when John releases him to play 5-on-5. I would think that would be somewhere here around Valentine's Day, maybe.
Are you anticipating? Could you have him available? You know,
that's a good question. That's a good question, Joseph. And if I thought we would, I would tell you. But the honest answer is I don't know. I don't know. You know, is that a maybe? I don't know if it's a maybe or not. I'm not trying to be vague, but I'm not saying no. I don't know. That's just something that I would have no input on that, and I want no input on that. That would be strictly up to our doctor, our trainer, and Fabian and his family. But if you would come in the gym and watch him practice and work out, you would think he was getting ready to play. That's how good he looks.
Thank you. All right, we'll go back to Chris Gardner, please. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, last night, Tramon mentioned to us that the mental aspect was something he was dealing with in the last few weeks, and help from the staff. What has, just not really the specifics, how difficult has it been for the coaches to help the players deal with the mental aspect of COVID?
Yeah, that's kind of the untold or unspoken realities that we've had to deal with. You know, this COVID thing for young guys, when you take basketball away from them, when you take their social life away from them, and you put them in a room for 24 hours for 10 straight days, they all react differently to that. You know, some of our guys are, Tramon is soft-spoken and quiet by nature. You know, he's not going to reach out like at midnight last night, I started getting text out of the blue from Dejan. You know, he's just texting me stuff. Marcus will text me, Bryson, Kieran, J1. These guys are always texting me. But Tramon is a kid that we've had to really build trust with because he's so quiet. But the COVID thing affected him, and I'm not going to go into it any further than that. But we've had to do some stuff with Tramon. Was that you know, people look at something and they don't know what they don't know. You know, his struggles were real. You know, and that's something that And I'm proud of our staff because we've been 24/7 with these kids. These kids are our life. I don't have to be their life, but they are my life. 24/7. We're committed to them. That's why we're so hands-on. When people talk about a family, I mean, our kids are real comfortable inside our cocoon because they know they're going to be taken care of. They know we love them. And we want them comfortable with communicating to us. And our assistant coaches do a great job. So, but Tramon, he's coming along. I'm proud of Tramon. He's getting there. He's not all the way back. I don't even know what that means. I've heard people say, "Are you back yet?" Is he 80%? I don't know what 80% means. I think he's more like 93.6. But he's getting there.